It's Chaos Max time. Hi, your local Dragon Lady here with another Blue Eyes Chaos Max Dragon deck profile. It's been a long time since I've done a profile. I've been getting lots of requests for a new one. So I have done some tweaks. It's the same core principle. It's an OTK base deck and you're still doing the incantation ritual system. The whole idea is to turbo out Chaos Max Dragon and go for the kill with creature swap shenanigans. So yes, a little bit different, nothing too drastic from my last builds, but hey, it's just enough to warrant a new profile. So without further ado, let's hop into it. For your monsters, you have your 3 blue-eyes white dragons. They only serve as food for the Chaos Max as ritual material. You will not be summoning these guys at all. Well, if you do, it'll be very, very rare. 3 Blue Eyes Chaos Max Dragons, the star of this deck, and they're all rarity bumped to secret rares, but still only one baby. I've been playing around with more than one of him for Master Rule 5, but one is still enough because even if he were to be sent to the grave, he is still recoverable with the incantation system. 3 incantation chalice slimes. I used to use 2. I am now bumping it up to 3. This guy is the source of your incantation system. So the more of him you have, the better, and access to him you have, the better. And 1 Amorphoraptor Pain, the Imagination Drake Overlord. I think I said that right. One of my favorite rituals in the game now because this allows the deck to go first. It's a conventional wisdom of Chaos Max, you go second. If you're going blind, I suggest you go second. But if you're made to go first, this is a card that allows you to do it. With the incantation system, what you do is you search and you summon him right off the bat. And what happens is once he hits the field, your opponent must skip their main phase 1, and any XC, Synchro, or Fusion monsters they get out basically turn into vanillas. So this card is going to be more important than ever now in Master Rule 5. Necros Unicorn technically is better because it turns off Link monsters too, but right now I don't think Link monsters is going to be as prevalent. I mean, they're still important cards, but they're not going to be as prevalent. People are going to be spamming the other cards a lot more now thanks to to the new Master Rule. So if you're made to go first, do your best to get this guy out as soon as you can, because your opponent will skip their main phase 1 if they have no monsters in the field, which means they're not going to have much of a battle phase, and in main phase 2 they'll be building the field that they would have done if they went first anyway. So yes, this is one of the best cards in the deck. Easy to get out to, level 8, so you can use your Advanced Ritual Art, send a Blue Eyes to the deck, to the grave from your deck, and out he comes. Incantation ratio is a little different. I'm using 3 pencils, 3 books, 2 talismans, and 2 candles. This is the exact same ratio that I'm using for my ritual control deck, and this ratio works really, really well. Now, it's not a big deal if you get a candle or a talisman in your hand, although it's not really preferred. These guys are actually more effective when you search for them from your deck. The worst thing about though when you have 2 of these is you happen to have 2 of a kind in your hand, so that's a bit of a gamble you're going to be taking with this ratio. If you really want to hedge your bets, you can definitely have 3 candles and 3 talismans. You'll just have to figure out what cards in the rest of the deck you're willing to remove, because I wouldn't go past 42. I don't have 42 in this deck. I think I have 40 or 41, but I never go past 42 with this ritual deck. So this ratio is really good. Not often do you brick with having 2 of these or 2 of these in your hand, but man, I found this to work out very, very well. And 3 Zabor with the Mega Monarch. Yes, I decided to put him back in. I've been playing online and he's been very successful. And the fact he's a level 8 doesn't hurt either. So say if you have a Chaos form in your hand and you want to ritual summon your Blue Eyes Chaos Max, he's a level 8. So if you can't utilize him for the effect, well, you can at least use him as ritual material. But the gist of it is if you're able to tribute summon him onto your field using a light monster as one of the tributes, so you got one of your incantations, as cost, you can send him to the grave. He's a light monster, he's level 8. So because it's a light monster, you can take 8 monsters from your extra deck and your opponent's extra deck and send them to the grave. But you gotta be careful though, because if you did not use a light monster in the tribute summoning of this card, you will not get to choose which monsters in your opponent's extra deck you get to send. Your opponent will. So always be careful of that. Try to use at least 1 light monster for the tribute summoning of this guy. And what you send to your graveyard from your extra deck is very important. But the best thing about this is if you can zap all the best monsters from your opponent's extra deck, this is pretty much a win condition. If you get the right monsters, your opponent just might quit the duel right there. Okay, for Magic, I have 2 Pop Extravagance for draw power. You can put 3 in if you want, but I find 2 works out really well. 3 Melody of Awakening Dragon for search. This basically searches out your Blue Eyes White Dragon, your Blue Eyes Chaos Max, and your Blue Eyes Chaos. So, and if you happen to add a Blue Eyes Alternative White Dragon or Chaos Dragon Lavineer, that will search them out as well. 3 Chaos Form to ritual summon your Chaos Max. If you already have a Blue Eyes White Dragon in the graveyard, you can banish that as a tribute as well to get them out, so it's very flexible. Only 2 Advanced Ritual Art this time. This allows you to send a vanilla of the same level as your ritual monster to the grave. So this will ritual summon the Chaos Max, Chaos, and the Drake Overlord by sending a Blue Eyes White Dragon from your deck to your grave. And 1 Incantation Inception. I love this card. I have used it in earlier builds before, but now I decided to put it back in. It's basically recyclable and allows you to put more incantation materials on your deck, on your field, and is recyclable as well with the Chalice Slime. So having an additional Chalice Slime with Inception just makes this more flexible. And of course, again, like with the Inception, you can ritual summon any monster you want. It's just long, you just got to use the incantations as the material, and it can equal or exceed. So again, I love ritual cards that are very flexible in the levels department. 2 Preparation of Rites. Yep, this just allows you to search for the Chalice Slime. That card is extremely important in this deck. It just catapults everything. So the more opportunities you have to draw into it or search for the Chalice Slime, the better. And also as a bonus, if you happen to have a Ritual Magic card in your graveyard, you can recover it. And of course, what is Chaos Max without OTK shenanigans? So we have 3 creature swap. Yes, this play's still alive. It's one of my favorites, but it's also multi-purpose too. You can sometimes give an incantation to your opponent and just leave it there. By doing that, you're actually locking them out of their extra deck if you have no way to get a Chaos Max out to do the piercing damage. And I've actually won games because of this, because your opponent has to find a way to get rid of that incantation to go into their extra deck. And 1 Sheehan Spy. I always used to use 2, but I reduced it to 1, especially where I've changed the ratios of my incantations. But Sheehan Spy is still really good too. It just allows you to do the OTK move without having to rely on your opponent having a monster in their field. Because with creature swap you do, but Sheehan Spy you don't. So basically, if you're on turn 2 and your opponent has nothing on their no monsters on their field, you can just get out a incantation, use Sheehan Spy to give it to them, gives it to them until the end phase, and use Chaos Max to go on for 8,000 attack and end the game. Okay, for the extra deck, you're almost never going to be summoning anything from it, especially if you've got an incantation on your field, you won't be able to, but I have done it on the rare occasion. But the extra deck is mostly for Zaborg. So first thing, I have a Neo Blue Eyes Ultimate Dragon. I always try to send him to the grave with Zaborg, because once it's in the grave, if a Blue Eyes card on your side of the field gets targeted by anything, like if you have a regular Blue Eyes White Dragon gets targeted, just banish him instead and it'll be protected. And a Blue Eyes Twin Burst Dragon, amazing card. If you just happen to have a 2 Blue Eyes White Dragons on your side of the field, just do a Contact Fusion, and it's really good monster removal. For the Zaborg, I have 3 Elder Entity Natis. Once that hits the graveyard, you can target a card on your opponent's side of the field and destroy it. It can be front row, back row, don't matter. 3 Herald of the Arclight, same thing. Once they hit the grave, it allows you to search your deck for any ritual monster or magic card. And 1 Psy Framework Omega. Once he's the graveyard, you can basically recycle him. You can take him and one other card you want and send it back to your deck or to your extra deck. So these are the primary targets you go for when you do the Zaborg move. For XCs, I always use level 8s because, you know, Chaos Max are all level 8s. Number 23, Lancelot. One of the best cards to go to if you were to go into a rank 8. He's good negation, but he's also a, he can also attack directly for 2,000. So say if you're in the late game, you got 2 Chaos Maxes out, you have no way of attacking and getting around their monsters. What you can do is just overlay 2 Chaos Maxes into him, and you can attack directly for game. And I have done this. People don't expect this, but you'll see what I'm talking about once you watch the replay showcase in the description below. Number 90, Galaxy Eyes Photon Lord, just a good free negate. I also use the Galaxy package of Galaxy Eyes Cypher Dragon. You can rank up into Galaxy Eyes Full Armor Dragon. It's good to steal, good for a free pop, and a 4,000 beat stick in case, hey, something happens to all your Chaos Maxes, you need something, you know, a real strong body on the board. Hope Harbinger, staple rank 8. He's just good for negating a magic card. You can absorb it, and you can switch targets to himself. And one Borolo Dragon for the laughs. I mean, I have no idea how to be able to get him out, but if you were to side in any Ghost Reaper and Winter Cherries, well, there you go. He's actually a really good target. Probably one of the biggest threats to Chaos Max, because where he's a non-target steal. So yeah, if you use the Winter Cherries, go ahead. You can use this as a target, because a lot of extra decks do use him. When it comes to the side decks, I don't have anything officially built, especially considering there's still no organized events. But there are some staples I always have at Chaos Max. And of course, there's always other cards that can help you anyway. So the main cards I usually have would be 3 Swords of Concealing Light. He's just really good. It can bait out and negate. It can turn all your opponent's monsters face down. And that allows you to get the true power Chaos Max, which is a double piercing. Call by the Grave is extremely important. You really need your plays to go off. You'll notice I don't use any hand traps all that often, but hand traps can happen to you, so you don't want them to go off. So Call by the Grave is really good. Twin Twisters, excellent for the back row hate. If your opponent goes first and ends up building an insane negate board, you can use Dark Ruler no more, just so you can get your plays off. One staple I've often used with this deck is Lava Golem. You know, normally I main decked him, but not right now. So Lava Golem is still really good to get rid of some monsters on your opponent's side of the field to go on with your plays. You'll also notice that Bingo Machine Go, I took it out of the main deck, and Bingo Machine Go is a really, really difficult card to get a hold of. It's gone up in price again, and that's why I always say Bingo Machine Go, I call it bait with benefits. It's one of those cards that's too good to ignore. If your opponent were to ash it, to me it's not that big of a deal because you almost don't need it, and it is true. So if you want to use Bingo Machine Go but can't find it, really don't fret. You really do not need Bingo Machine Go to play this deck. But if you want to side it, have at it. Ash Blossom and Joy Spring, good staple to have to disrupt any plays your opponent has. And as I mentioned, the main deck profile, you can use a Blue Eyes Alternative White Dragon, and you can use the Chaos Dragon Levineer. They are searchable with the Melody Awakening Dragon, and it's really good in case you have nothing to work with. So at least you can reveal a Blue Eyes to get him out of, you know, free target and destroy. And Chaos Dragon Levineer is ridiculously easy to get out with this deck because your opponent often will attack and destroy your incantations, and they're all light or dark, so you can banish those, get them out, and you can destroy up to at least 2 cards. And I'm sure you noticed that this deck does not have any traps, so you can also try siding in 3 Royal Decree. Reason why this would be an amazing card is it will not affect you whatsoever. Right now, there's a lot of back row heavy decks right now, and especially traps. So yeah, so if you side in Royal Decree and activate it, odds are your opponent is not going to like that, but you get away with it scot-free because you're not using any traps. So yeah, definitely kind of recommend. And That My Dragons is my latest profile of Chaos Max. It's the same idea as my previous build. You just turbo them out as fast as you can with the incantations and going for the OTK. Now, I do have another pure Blue Eyes White Dragon build that does incorporate Chaos Max, so hoping I get more time, I'll definitely do a profile on that. The past while, I have been flirting around with another Blue Eyes Guard Dragon build. I never fully dismantle the old version. Like, I have been playing Guard Dragon Rocket Engine duels, but I don't know. I had a lot more success with my Blue Eyes Guard Dragons, and even though a lot of the cards that made that deck so successful is banned, I still want to give it a try, see if I can make it more viable, and you kind of got to, because the Red Eyes Darkness Metal Dragon is, you know, going to get errata. So this might be my last chance to really have a fully functional Blue Eyes Guard Dragon. I mean, I'm not sure what I'll come up with, but if anything that is viable, I'll definitely do a profile of that. So anyway, stay safe out there. It's still quarantine time, and I'm still flat out with my job, but no matter what happens, remember to be a good sport, play the game, not the fame, and hopefully I will see you again soon. Bye! Thanks for watching! If you like what you see, subscribe, and be sure to click on the bell for notifications. You can also check me out on Facebook. The link is in the description below. Happy dueling!